the list as well. I want to first thank CES for having us on stage, you guys to be here at 9 a.m. And want to say a special thanks to Alper, who's been taking over the LoRa Alliance for the next 1.5 years, and he's done an amazing job in pushing this standard and the story around it forward. So we are a LoRa Alliance member. We focus on providing the software to make sure that LoRaWAN's solutions can scale. If you build a LoRaWAN's solution, you're after deploying low power sensors that need a long range or need very good penetrations to walls or industrial refrigerators or anything. And you're interested in deploying a highly open standard with a large ecosystem of choice and a democratized basically platform where you can adopt the standard and cherry pick the vendors. These vendors operate in this architecture, high level. So you have devices like these. This is a radiator knob, a water meter that is connected to LoRaWAN. Then that data has to be sent to a gateway. There's a wide range of gateway vendors out there. Next up is our friends from LoRaWAN, who have a complete portfolio of indoor, outdoor gateways in all kinds of different contexts. They can operate indoor. They can operate it even where ATEX certification is certified. They can operate in the bad weather, cold weather, etc., etc. Then at the middle, the piece of software that orchestrates all these devices, the security, the gateways, the data flowing, is called a LoRaWAN network server. We're a leading company globally now in providing a cloud-based and on-premise LoRaWAN network server that you need to operate this platform. And you can connect any of our 30 gateway partners to the platform and any one of our 300 device maker platforms, makers that are certified around 1,500 devices on our platform, serving all kinds of different use cases. So what our platform then supports next is all kinds of integrations into any platform. Of course, all the major cloud providers with their IoT platforms, you can easily forward the data to with a no-code manner. We provide data decoding and data normalization so that the data that these devices are sending are easy to interpret by your IT or IoT platform. And the majority of our customers actually implement these integrations into their own applications or their own ERP systems, directly feeding the data of these sensors into where your existing digital transformation exists. And that's where our customers build the applications. So this is an ecosystem play. We do one thing, and we expect our partners to do another thing. And if everybody does their thing really well, we can solve this very complex and complicated and risky puzzle of building IoT solutions. As Alper just said very nicely with his examples, is LoRaWAN is cracking a lot of different nuts. Right? It's solving a lot of different problems, and this makes it very unique. It also makes that the broadness in which it's being applied across the market, across so many verticals, is really astounding. So my objective for this talk to inspire you with a set of proof points, set of mass scale deployments in a very wide range of industries that will inspire you and give you ideas on maybe to do it yourself. The geographical distribution next to the vertical distribution is also very strong. We started 10 years ago directly as a as a cloud initiative, so we launched globally. And the diversity is immense, from mines in Argentina, tracking cattle in Australia, doing air quality in high schools in Canada, to doing, for instance, retrofitting radiator systems in hotels in Germany through these smart radiator knobs using LoRaWAN. But it's literally everywhere. It's because the standard can be applied everywhere. There are different frequencies and SKUs that you need, but at scale, that is really not a big problem. So all these different categories, they are served with this. And now yesterday, or almost every day, I get the question, okay, like you see all these customers, you have 1,000 customers across the world, kind of like, what is that key vertical that we need to get into to make a successful IoT business? And there's always a very, very unsatisfying answer to that, is there's not one key vertical, right? It's really the broadness. And every vertical has its opportunities or challenges. And of course, if you, for instance, you could say that in metering, these are high numbers, and also there's high challenge, and there's low margin, right? So what we now see when IoT matures is that kind of getting into IoT because you want to get into IoT, and if that is not per se a recipe for success. What's a recipe for success is that you're in a certain domain, you know the problem, you are a domain expert, and you are able to connect the dots where IoT can drive your business and create, kind of like, be part of your digital transformation. IoT by itself is never an objective. That's a project, that's a pet project, that's a hobby, right? We've been around for 10 years, and we have always very much focused on to making lives for our partners and the developers of our customers, making their lives easy. Because we know that the developers of our customers, they will make their bosses happy, and then these companies will be successful. That's the way to go, right? Bottom up in this fragmented market, top down is hard. So we've partnered over the last 10 years with all these different device makers, and they used our enterprise tools to create and test all these different devices. So we have around 1,500 compatible devices. So you cannot even see them on our website, thethingsindustries.com. You can go to the partner portal and you can see all of them and get a lot of inspiration. What we've seen over the last few years, this exponential growth of all these different solutions, because that growth literally goes exponential, because somebody starts with a POC of around 100, somebody of around 100 devices, then it goes to 10,000, then it goes to 100,000, because once you made something work at a scale of 1,000, your scalability issues towards 100,000, yes, they are there, for sure, but the 0 to 1,000, that's the hard bit, right? And if you made margins and ROI work there, I mean, we can help you scale. So we work with a lot of partners and a lot of customers across the world. Many of them are LoRa Alliance members, and many of them are also not. They are in a domain. They frankly don't really care about LoRaWAN, right? They care about that data getting into their system. And we did an analysis of these 4 million devices that we operate across the world. And we did an analysis that over a lifetime of 4 years, an average device creates around 125 million in opportunity, in not so say net revenue or in OPEX saving, but in value. So that means that you could argue that for these 4 million devices, around 2 billion in value is created. And again, this is not per se revenue or increased revenue. This can also can be and many times it's OPEX saving or reducing risks. And then if you kind of start to drill down, that's how in this IoT market, I talked about all these different verticals and that there are so many verticals where IoT can be successful. And let's just, for instance, drill down in the vertical of, let's drill down into the vertical facility management. Right? In facility management, there's many use cases you can think of. Like you can, for instance, measure the fill rate of the soap dispenser. Or, for instance, we see a use case around food compliancy, where you measure the temperature of the fridges. If you look at the US, there's around 8 million commercial fridges out there. Let's say that if we service them all, there's a revenue opportunity of 2.4 billion. And that's only in the US, right? So if you drill down and able to kind of nail one problem, but then you can scale that across the nation, yeah? Like the technology is here, 10 years of hardening the technologies and 10 years of all our device makers partners and the gateway partners in the ecosystem. Like these markets are accessible. So let's say we have 4 million. We make, let's say, the value that kind of is generated from the network management services around 16 million. Then when you deploy a device, you have to think about the total cost of ownership around $300 per device, right? That's your investment. And what we see in our enterprise customers, they at least have a 5x return on that investment when they're successful, right? So now that the likelihood of being successful with IoT is ever increasing, it's really now the time to start. It's literally finding the domain problem and seeing IoT, us, LoRa Alliance, as a commodity. Yeah, we're just here to serve you, to make sure that you're going to get some data from the edge to cloud in a low power way. And so we've compiled a list of customers of which we're allowed to share with it. I can say that the most interesting customers I would love to share with you, I'm not allowed to share with you, but these give a really good representation. So this is InView. They provide the security products that you see in the Apple store, or in the Samsung store, or in the electronics. What they do is they create these security products connected to these phones. And with LoRa, they get data about how many times it's being picked up. And when the thing is actually, somebody tries to steal it, directly, when the alarm goes up, all other phones are locked. So you maybe have seen on YouTube this video where somebody's trying to get all these phones, right? So when you grab one, all the other ones are directly physically locked into that casing using LoRaWAN. Strela, US-based company, tries to make sure that if we transport food, yeah, we have as least as waste as possible. So they do condition monitoring, not only temperature, humidity, but they also have biosensors. So actually, if that is in a crate like you have a crate of fruit, and it starts to kind of like have some first signs of rotting, you exactly know that, and that saves a lot of food. We also have internet service providers, actually, that's trying to deploy networks with LoRaWAN. This is a local ISP, smaller one in the north of the UK, and they saw this opportunity to use their ISP capabilities to also build LoRaWAN networks, but have outdoor networks. Together, we're working on them now to deploy millions of these kind of water meters that run on a battery for 10 years. Right? That's, and these have massive ROIs, right? If a device lasts for 10 years, you can imagine what the business case is. This is a utility company from Austria. They're covering the entire country of Austria with LoRaWAN network to do water metering, but they also do not only water metering from homes, but they're adding all these kind of sensors and data gathering kind of units across their infrastructure to measure all kinds of other things that are interesting for a utility company. This is well on some shipping. It's one of the high-end shipping companies. For instance, they probably shipped your Tesla if you ordered a special one and it had to be produced in China, for instance. They need to do condition monitoring because if you get your Tesla, you don't want it to smell like rats and shit, and that doesn't smell nice. So they need to do a lot of sensing in their ships to do it right. This is a newer company that does boiler monitoring. Kind of truck rolls are the most expensive and margin crushing thing of a company. So they monitor the boilers and do predictive maintenance. This is a sensor a company that does sensors in high schools here in the US, both padding buttons, but also detecting bullying and vaping in bathrooms, because you cannot have cameras there, of course. They ship medicine across the world. What they do is they monitor the crates of the conditioned air freight crates that ship vaccines and medicine from the Middle East to China. And when the plane lands, the devices offload the data. They track cows. You want to track a cow if you have a farm without a fence, either Argentina or in Australia, and you want to have a lot of data about it. You want to know where it is. You also want to know through AI, they can detect if, for instance, a cow is starting to get labor. You need to get into your Jeep, get to the place, and make sure everything goes well. This is a commodity trading platform. When you, for instance, trade in grain, you take risk of the quality of products, but you're somewhere behind a desk in Geneva, and the silo is somewhere on the other end of the world. And you want to know if actually what your asset that you think you have actually exists and like is conserved at a good point. So kind of summarizing this up, LoRaWAN has been through a hype, and it's now really reaching maturity and getting to this plateau of productivity. This is our device growth over the last 10 years. And you can see people love it, they believe it, they use it. Yeah, this is going in the right direction. We're not alone. Analysts think that LoRaWAN is not only here to stay, it's growing, it's being used. It's really recognized as one of the bigger, one of the standards out there, both IoT Analytics and Beecham Research. So I hope I showed you what it is, what you can do with it, what other companies are doing with it, and the best, and it's never been easier or a better timing to start than now. What is that we're handing out 30 starter kits and we're going to give it away to this audience, which you can use to kind of build your own prototype. And this is at a value of around $300. And just get started and get your hands on. And just start by taking a few days to build a POC, and then you know if it works or not.